Back to Summit County, we're gonna rank all the lifts at Copper Mountain! Well, except for the magic carpets. Anyways, Copper Mountain is a great ski resort in Colorado. The mountain can be spread out into 4 major sections. The West Village serving greens and blues, the Center Village serving a mix of greens, blues, and blacks, the East Village serving blues and blacks, and the Back Bowls serving blacks and double blacks. Without further ado,
we're Twin Skiing Lifts and Rides, and this is every lift at Copper Mountain ranked!
19. Lumberjack. Okay, as someone who's ridden a lift of similar length, this may actually be the laziest I've ever seen this thing run. I mean, what was Copper even thinking? Was there a mechanical issue? I saw no loading or unloading issues whatsoever. Here's my reaction.
What is this, Slumber Town?
Exactly. This thing took 30 minutes, which should only take 9 to 10. That was just ridiculous. It's earned itself the nicknames Slumberjack and Lumber Slack. That was just straight up lazy. Now, this lift does have some potential to include solid trails, but even then, the only way I would re-ride this lift is if it gets replaced with a high-speed quad, or if it runs at an appropriate speed full time. Oh, and another thing about the trails, despite being all greens, from top to bottom, you know what they feel like? Flat! 18. Pitchfork. After that lazy ride on Lumber Slack, let's go ahead and move on to the Green Acres. Now, you may be wondering why this lift isn't in last place. We do not judge lifts just solely based on green circles and skill level. We judge the overall experience. Being in a beginner area, there isn't much substance, but it is great for beginners and those who want to explore the area a bit more. 17. Gem! Sorry, I'm still triggered from that Lumber Slack episode. This lift is very similar to Pitchfork, but a bit shorter. It serves the same terrain, but I've been growing on surface lifts. It's a little trickier to ride, but you're less likely to slip up if you know what you're doing. 16. Alpine. If you're into relaxing and long rides, this is the right choice for you. It's another parking lot lift, and while it wasn't open when we went, you can still access most of the trails from Super B. It's not really lappable just because it's a relatively long ride, and as I mentioned, you can reach the trails off this lift from both Super B and Accelerator. 15. Kokomo Express. I personally don't like the West Village area since it's so cluttered most of the time and full of beginners, but this is a great lift to start with. It runs at an appropriate speed and flies over some mini terrain parks. If you're not into skiing terrain parks, this is a good warm-up. I have a tendency to call it Slowcomo, but it doesn't matter since the lift is not that long. While the runs are flat for the most part, they do their job at getting the beginners warmed up for the next level. 14. Resolution. It's one of those lifts that you must take back up if you ski all the way down the bowl. This area serves black and double black runs, and also serves the Resolution Bowl. It wasn't running, but it is good for mogul hounds and advanced skiers. 13. Three Bears. Like Resolution, it serves mostly black diamonds, but even more advanced. There aren't many options if you aren't super into black diamonds. It's a lot like 99 Gnarly at Park City. It wasn't open during our trip, but the least brutal one I found is Summit Stash. There's a reason it's only for experts. Very rocking and windy towards the top, and no room for yard sales. 12. Rendezvous. This is one of a few high alpine lifts that provide access to the back bowls. While Blackjack gets you to the same place, Rendezvous mainly serves green runs, so there isn't much substance when it comes to lapping. Just head over to the other side and things should be fun. 11. Celebrity Ridge. This lift unloads right next to the Mountain Chief lift. It only replaces a small hike. It just makes getting to Copper Bowl easier, and it's short, but it looks lappable and has excellent views from the top. Also, this looks like a better version of Gem, so there's that. 10. Woodward Express. For the terrain park rats, but not me. This serves some great trails in the West Village, and is home to the Woodward Central Park. Any of you tricksters would get a kick out of this one if airtime is your thing. Plus, Timberline Express is not too far from the top. Also, this is like a better version of Gemini Express at Winter Park, because it doesn't slow and stop as often. 9. Blackjack. Man, I can't believe the back bowls lifts were closed during our trip. Anyways, this lift is just like Rendezvous, but it serves the other side. From the top, what you have is the lower Copper Bowl, and Autobahn if you just want to traverse. At the bottom is Three Bears if you want the real challenge. 8. Sierra. Very similar to Rendezvous, but goes up a bit higher. It basically gives you two options. You can either stay on the main face or venture down to the back bowls. You can reach all three bases from the top, and the mountains in the distance give breathtaking views.
7. Mountain Chief. It's kind of hard to see in the photo, but that's actually the top terminal right up above Sierra. Like Sierra, it ends at the same place, but begins on the other side and ends a bit higher. This one does not play around when it comes to difficulty. It may be easier than Three Bears, but this is Copper Bowl after all. It's meant to be difficult. Ski down it well or end up slipping up.
6. American Eagle. Out of base option 1 takes you to the mid-mountain. I like that it gives you the option to ride a 6-person chair or an 8-person gondola. On our trip, the chairs were the ones that got the most lines, since not everybody wanted to take off their skis. I get mixed feelings about this lift because I could wait in the gondola line less than the chair line. It just depends on the time of day and the weather. Plus, accelerator is not that far.
5. American Flyer. Out of base option 2 is a longer journey and combines not taking your skis off and protection from the elements in one chair. So hooray for that! This is your gateway to the rest of the main mountain. The top of Timberline is also nearby. Most of the trails are greens, but they don't disappoint. The American Flyer Trail's a banger. This was the 4th lift in North America to open with the direct drive, preceded by the Winter Park Gondola, Ram Charger 8, and American Eagle, which we just talked about. The trails are not flat, but they're not as steep as Storm King or the back bowls, but I do like that Copper Mountain has more of a family-friendly environment, especially on the front side.
4. Timberline Express. My favorite west side pod. Its trails are just the right difficulty. Copperfield's great. Moz is full of trees. Windsong is also fun. And to top it off, this lift runs at a great pace. While lines can sometimes get long, this lift gets the job done. You can also traverse over to the Rendezvous and Sierra lifts if you want to access the back bowls.
This lift isn't quite as high on the list just because it's in a family-oriented area and there are a few flat sections near the bottom.
I just feel like the next few lifts on this list have the full package and provide a better overall experience.
3. Super B. You may be surprised that an out-of-base 6-pack is placed as high. Well, somehow it was the quietest base area during our trip. As a whole, the east side is my favorite portion. Annie's Encore is my favorite trail in this pod. The lower half is full of exciting trails, such as Rosie's Run. This is one of several ways to get to the Spalding Bowl. Unlike Quicksilver Super 6 at Breck and Christie Peak at Steamboat, this lift does not slow down or stop as much as those two. So yeah, this thing's a great people mover. How about that?
2. Accelerator. This thing literally accelerates. They should have called this lift the Accelerator. Another short and sweet lift, and also difficult too. Mine Dump is full of moguls, so if you're expecting something smooth, it's not for you. Ptarmigan's the way to go. You can also access Storm King from both this lift and Super B. Of course, since we've gone through just about every single lift, we just have one more box to check.
1. Storm King. For the first time, we have a number 1 that is not a detachable lift or a chairlift. Rather, we have a super awesome high alpine T-bar. Hallelujah Ridge and Spalding Ridge are very fun, great for speed demons, and the Spalding Bowl is to the left. We got a total of 16 rides on it during our trip. This lift is my favorite because I can tell it was not built for snowboarders. Here's the thing with this lift. You don't sit down. You just stay standing and let the T rest against your bum and it'll pull you up. If you're a snowboarder, one side of the bar has to go between your legs and you have to stand sideways. If you mess up, you may as well start over because your ride is gone. This lift is truly a balance test.
So yeah, Copper Mountain's our favorite ski resort in Colorado. I love the variety of terrain that this ski area has to offer. We skied Winter Park that same week, and we'll post a ranking of that later, but I feel that Copper has a lot more to offer in the early months, as long as Mother Nature cooperates.
And now we are done. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for a Winter Park ranking sometime this summer. Bye bye.